The gift of this day, Lord, we again pray your peace upon our families, blessings on those unspoken requests that all of us have, Father. We continue to lift up the people of Ukraine and ask that you would guide us in the work we're trying to do for the people of Georgia this day. All these things we ask and pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. All right, we got 2 senators and a House member over there. Yeah, the House member has to go first. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gamble.
Well, good Friday morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm here today to request House Resolution 650, which is at the top of your blue sheet, second down. And basically what this would do is it would create the House Study Committee on Literacy Instruction. I have worked with the Science for Georgia and several other organizations and Malcolm Mitchell and his organization to bring this to you today, and everything that it outlines is what the charge of the group would be to bring in stakeholders to figure out how we can streamline reading education in our state. So that's it. That's pretty much what it does.
Okay. I don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Senator Kirkpatrick.
Guess I better wait to be invited. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you're always invited.
I have 2 on your list on modified structured rule. Do you want me to cover both of them?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. Senate Bill 340, this bill was actually brought to me by the Georgia Board of Healthcare Workforce, and as you know, unfortunately, we lost the director, LaShawn Hughes, a few months ago suddenly. She was very passionate about increasing healthcare access, especially in rural Georgia. This bill does 2 things. It corrects some wrong language in the code because the accrediting agency for residency programs is not the AMA, it's the ACGME, so it fixes that, but it also takes away the minimum size requirement for residency programs, which is currently at 50, and in rural areas, a lot of places can't get to 50, and the ACGME does not have a size requirement as long as the hospitals meet the other criteria.
Okay. Well, I don't see any questions. Oh, hold on one sec. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Am I to understand then this will increase residency slots in Georgia potentially?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Let's pass this one. So
Okay.
you have another one, don't you?
I do, and this one, Mr. Chairman, you're probably pretty familiar with the subject matter. This is Senate Bill 341, and it's about prior authorization. And you probably remember last year we passed a pretty big bill with a lot of work from different stakeholders, Senate Bill 80, about prior authorization. We committed to coming back and addressing some of the things that were taken out of the bill last year, and what this bill does, it says that if you're a patient with a chronic condition and you're stable on medication, you only have to do your prior authorization once a year. And that is agreed upon by all the stakeholders, and the people affected testified in favor of the bill on our side. So I appreciate your consideration.
Chair Lady Taylor.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just one question on line 28. B, it says until the last day of coverage under the covered person's health plan. What if their plan has been in effect, and it's automatically renewing? You still have to, I know the first line says it's for 1 year from the date of the prescription, and the next line says until the last day of coverage. That could be their coverage goes on for 5 years. I've had the state health plan for years. Would I still have to get it done annually, or does this change it?
They can renew it for longer than a year, but there are some exceptions in there, particularly related to medications that may need a closer follow-up.
Right.
For effectiveness or side effects or something like that. And if someone changes plans, that's a whole different ballgame. If they
Right.
change carriers, that they have to start
I
over.
just want to make sure somebody couldn't get a prescription and not go back for, 5 years. That's what my concern was.
I think that the authorization can last longer than that. It just sets a floor so that it can't be every 90 days or every 30 days.
Chairman Martin.
Just to be clear, so this doesn't have anything to do with the medical efficacy of the prescription. This is just takes the administration out of it. If a doctor needs to see you to renew it, like in vision, they need to see, I think we have a law that says they need to see you every year before they can renew your contacts. They have to do that, But in this case, it's just administratively from an insurance company, it doesn't require it, but the doctor could.
That's exactly right. The doctor will see the patient as often as they need to be seen, but this has to do with just the insurance requirement.
Oh, don't see any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, Senator. I got a question for you, male senators. Go ahead. Go ahead, Doctor. Mr. Harper, come on up front. I'm gonna pick on her, y'all a little bit, not her. Yeah, okay. I understand y'all adjourned Tuesday night at 9:13.
9/11.
Now, let me finish my question. Considering y'all are not taking roll today, does that mean y'all are so tired and worn out that you have to take today off in order to rest up?
Mr. Chairman, I think that's probably accurate. I think we really labored over about 5 or 6 House bills on the Senate floor yesterday, so it was a lot of work.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Now, the second question on, since y'all are not going to take roll today, for those of you who don't show up, are you going to still collect per diem?
That's a good question, Mr. Chairman. I can't speak for the people who are not here.
Are you going to be there today?
I am here. I'm actually introducing our chaplain of the day.
Oh, that's good. Okay, just wanted to be
I have
sure.
a big role today.
Now, I also see, I'm picking on y'all, so I also understand that y'all are messing around with our mental health bill that we sent over there to you. For those of you who don't know this, we send some really good legislation over there. And they do such things as changing a comma to a period and introduce it as a Senate substitute so that we get no credit for all the work, and they do get credit. Y'all do that?
Well, respectfully, Mr. Chairman, I think we try and be a partner as much as possible. I know myself and these 2 senators following me, we don't usually do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, usually. That's the key term, usually. Okay. Now, I also have senators every now and then call me and tell me that they want to meet with me on a particular day at a particular time. Now, of you House members here, how many of you call the Senate Rules Chairman and say, I want to meet you at 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon? And how many of you think would get that 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon meeting? Well, the same thing applies here. Miss Lewis does my calendar, and she's the one that sets the calendar, just so you'll know. I think I mentioned this to you the other day, didn't I? That,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Not all. Now, all this stuff I'm saying does not apply to all of them, but there's enough in there that it does. I was told I was at a really good dinner last night. I mean, first class. Great people there, can't beat them. And I had a lobbyist tell me, he said the difference between the House and the Senate is that the House does the work of the people. The senators are private contractors working for themselves.
Wow.
Is there anything to that?
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully disagree, but I will share that message with the caucus and our other fellow senators in the Senate that
Okay.
those are the feelings of the House.
Okay. Well, one of the ones I guess I'm the most concerned about is that mental health bill.
Yes, sir.
I would like for it to come back as a House bill and not have been with a Senate substitute. And probably going to say something now that nobody wants to hear, but the earliest we'll have another Rules Committee meeting is Wednesday. You know, there's some things that has to get done that are not being done. So the earliest we'll have another Rules Committee meeting is Wednesday. Okay. All right, Senator, floor is yours.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, and for the invitation.
Okay.
So I have two bills on the modified structure rule calendar. Senate Bill 226, which basically creates a complaint resolution process for parents who believe that harmful materials are in their schools. Basically creates a transparent process, and also for those materials to be the title of the materials to be posted on a public website within 15 days of the determination by the school district. And that's basically what it does.
Okay. No questions. Next one.
The second bill, Mr. Chairman, is Senate Bill 326. This bill would create a monument statue of the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas on the state capitol grounds.
Mr. Williams. Oh, you're supposed to be on. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question on 326 here.
Yes, sir.
Certainly I know the Honorable, I probably know him personally better than anybody in the General Assembly. Were there any other worthy Georgians considered before this bill was introduced for this monument?
I can only speak to this bill, sir. I'm sure there are many worthy Georgians that are probably worthy of an honor on these grounds or on other state facilities. But this is the bill that we put forward, passed out of the Senate, and I believe if there's other worthy Georgians that we should honor and discuss, I think all of us, and I think I can speak for the entire Senate, we'd be open to those conversations. But this is the bill that we brought forth from the Senate to you all to consider. Good question.
Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many Georgians have served as justices on the United States Supreme Court?
To my knowledge, there's 4 that are recognized that either are from Georgia or have lived in Georgia. Some of those Supreme Court justices lived in Georgia for a very short period of time. So that would be the answer, would be 4.
And we don't have any statues for the others, correct?
Not to my knowledge. I've walked around the Capitol, the grounds, the facilities around here. I'm not aware. There's at least one justice that probably doesn't need his name nor anything mentioned because of his history and involvement with the Dred Scott decision.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Leader Beverly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentleman yield. Are you open to a substitute or an amendment to your particular bill?
Thank you for the question. With my bill, I would love to see my bill passed, our bill passed, as the bill is written. If it's the will of the body and the leaders of this great chamber to do otherwise, we can have that discussion. We can have that debate. But I'm not here to ask for amendments nor make the bill more complicated than it needs to be.
And just a quick follow-up question, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. Are you aware of any women that we honor on the state grounds in the state of Georgia at the Capitol?
Can you repeat the question?
Are you aware of any women that we honor on the state grounds here at the Capitol?
It's a good question. Right off the top of my head, no. I'm sure there's honors around the Capitol, inside the Capitol, hopefully somewhere, but this bill addresses placing a Clarence Thomas statue on the grounds.
Speaker Pro Tem.
Yes, Senator, are you aware of who the last person was that we did put a statue of on the Capitol grounds?
my understanding, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Dr. King.
That's right, in the last several years. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Albers, I hope you're doing well.
I am. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Happy Friday to you.
Well, happy Friday to you, too.
I'm proud to present to you under Modified Structure Rule, Senate Bill 331, that is Protecting Georgia Businesses and Workers Act. This bill has broad support from our tourism community, hotel and lodging, restaurant association, chambers of commerce, and FIB alike, to make sure that on the local level, on a city-county level, they don't regulate the hours that people can work. As we know, labor laws are pretty exclusively tailored to the state and federal level, and we've seen that happening across the country, and we want to assure that Georgia maintains our ranking as the #1 place to do business, and this bill will assure that we keep us on that trajectory.
Any questions for the gentleman? All right, seeing none. Thank you. Oh, by the way, there's a couple of senators who have bills on here that were notified to be here to present, and they didn't show up. So if they don't show up, their bills don't make it.
I understand. I will pass that message back along
Very
to them.
good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
sir.
that. Mr. Harper.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
Glad to be here.
Good.
Always good to be with my good friends in the House, and
What are you doing?
I'm just glad to bring good bills to you.
You're politicking, huh?
Well, no, sir. I'm just always look forward to coming to this
Sure you
esteemed
do.
committee.
Go ahead.
Bottom of the page, Senate Bill 469 is a DNR bill, department bill, but it just brings our state law into compliance with federal code regarding the coastal waters in regards to visual distress signals, and it also brings our state law into compliance and into conformity with how the U.S. Coast Guard addresses personal flotation devices, and that's what the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any questions for the gentleman? Oh, seeing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all. Have a great day.
You too. Mr. Green, I think you got one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir, I do. It is House Resolution 467. It's an urging bill. It's sort of a proactive House resolution to address the problems areas in Interstate 185 and Georgia 300. It's really an economic venture to ask the Department of Transportation to move forward to looking at the ways in which we can move our goods through the state of Georgia a lot better. And I want to thank Chairman Jaspers and the Transportation Committee for pushing this on out for us to look at it, ask the Department of Transportation to look at it.
How far are you extending 185?
To go through 27 on down to Florida.
How far in Florida?
As far as they'll let us.
How about Interstate 10?
Do you want to add that?
I proposed this same thing to the DOT board member several years ago, and the number that it would cost to do it is significant, but it would be very important.
It is important for our area. If we want to see South Georgia grow, this is an opportunity for them to look at something that will help us.
I agree. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have anything they'd like to comment on before we set the calendar for today? Oh, seeing none. Okay. H.R. 467, do I hear a move? Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. H.R. 650, do I hear a move? Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. That's the calendar for today.